we have some new updates in the Doug Harless case this morning. And a White House official says they have a peace proposal for Russia's war against Ukraine. We'll tell you more.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Friday, November 21st. The time is now 4:59, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Desmond for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it is finally Friday, and I'm so excited for the weekend.
Yes, I'm definitely excited for the weekend, especially because the rain will start to taper out as we're heading into your Sunday. So let's talk about that forecast, as it's going to be a good couple of days. Starting off with this morning, keep in mind we're still hanging on to the foggy conditions as you're going out the door, especially for more of our southern counties this morning. Visibility is very low for folks in Somerset, Williamsburg, Harlan, looking at about 1 mile of visibility today. Now, in terms of what we'll be seeing on that satellite and radar, just a little bit of rain still lingering here in eastern Kentucky. More rain is to come, though, as we're going into the midday hours. And then we have some storm chances on the way as we're heading overnight. In terms of those temperatures, though, we're looking in a mixture of the 50s. Some folks are in the upper 50s, so it's definitely a very comfortable morning. 58 right now in Monticello. This afternoon, though, everyone will be looking at a mixture of the low to mid 60s, which is definitely warm for this time of year, as we're normally sitting at that 55-degree mark. Neely.
Megan, thank you. We have some new updates in the Doug Harless case this morning. KSB says the 63-year-old was shot and killed by a London police officer inside his Laurel County home last December during an attempt to serve a search warrant. Now state police say the case is moving forward and has been handed over to the prosecutor. Typically, it would head to Commonwealth's attorney Jackie Steele to determine whether criminal charges should be filed. However, Steele asked the Attorney General's office to appoint a special prosecutor in the case. The AG's office says they've assigned the case to Matthew Leveridge. He's the Commonwealth's attorney for Russell and Wayne counties. Harless's family has filed a lawsuit against the city, the police department, and the responding officers. That case was recently moved to federal court. Ronald Exanus is staying behind bars and will serve the rest of his prison sentence. The Kentucky Parole Board that made the decision after reviewing his file yesterday. Exanus was serving his time for connection with a deadly stabbing in Woodford County. He was found guilty of assault but not guilty of murder by reason of insanity. Exanus was released early last month and moved to Florida. Deputies there arrested him days later because he didn't register as a felon. That violated the terms of his parole, and Exanus admitted to the violation. The parole board said they think Exanus is still a risk to public safety. Kentucky's online offender registry says he's expected to be imprisoned until next June. There's fallout today after President Trump threatened several Democratic lawmakers with arrest and even death after they posted a video calling on military members to ignore illegal orders. Also today, President Trump is set to host soon-to-be New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani weeks after the president unsuccessfully pushed for his defeat. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
You can refuse illegal orders.
It's a video that sparked new controversy in Washington and threats from the president.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
6 congressional Democrats, all veterans and former national security officials, prompted by concerns over the administration's deadly strikes on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean and deployment of National Guard troops in American cities. President Trump on social media accused them of seditious behavior punishable by death and reposted a comment saying they should be hanged before writing, "Lock them up."
To suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do, and they should be held accountable.
The Democrats are seeking extra security. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin says she received hundreds of death threats yesterday.
I'm not going to shut up because Donald Trump is threatening me.
Meanwhile, a tone of cooperation as President Trump prepares to meet New York City's mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, a Democratic socialist he's dubbed a communist.
I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable.
The focus on America's largest city as Ukraine's president says he's received a Trump-backed plan to help end Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In it, reportedly calls for Ukraine to give up weapons and territory in exchange for security assurances. Jared Hill, CBS News.
New sanctions against 2 Russian oil companies are set to kick in today. It comes as new Treasury Department analysis finds that U.S. sanctions on Russian oil have sent prices tumbling, choking off a key source of funding for Russia's war on Ukraine. A White House official says they have a peace proposal for Russia's war against Ukraine, but it's facing skepticism from the Ukrainians. A senior White House official says President Trump has signed off on the 28-point plan. It reportedly calls for Ukraine to give up some weapons, shrink its army, and territorial concessions as Russia. A statement from President Volodymyr Zelensky's office says he expects to talk to Trump about the key points, but he has long rejected giving up land. Governor Beshear gave up an update on SNAP benefits starting back up following the government's reopening. As of Friday, the U.S. Department of Agriculture gave states the green light to start distributing benefits once again. Governor Beshear says his team worked through the night to make sure the program started working as soon as possible. As a result, Kentuckians started to see those payments come through Saturday morning.
Thanks to the hard work and dedication of our team, we were one of the first states to come through for their people. I will always support this program. Why? Because it's the largest anti-hunger program in our nation, and government should be fighting hunger, not causing it.
More than 600,000 Kentuckians rely on SNAP benefits to keep food on the table. A team of Democratic lawmakers is introducing legislation to reverse recent cuts to SNAP, including those outlined in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. It's called Restoring Food Security for American Families and Farmers Act, and the goal behind its creation is guaranteeing millions of Americans are still able to put food on the table. The legislation was introduced yesterday by a team of Democratic senators and representatives with the goal of reversing recent cuts to SNAP they say would devastate American communities.
These are poor people. They're struggling. And they want people who actually deserve it not to be able to fill out the forms properly so they can cut them. It's vicious.
According to one of the bill's sponsors, approved cuts would eliminate around $187 billion in food assistance during the next decade and cause a nearly $25 billion direct hit to America's farmers. A page of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's website was changed to include a false claim about autism and vaccines. The CDC vaccine safety webpage was updated to say the statement, "Vaccines do not cause autism," is not an evidence-based claim. The change raised concerns among health experts and advocates who say there is no connection between vaccines and the neurodevelopmental condition. The updated page does not cite new research. Health experts want you to stay diligent as we enter flu season. Health professionals at Baptist Health Richmond say last year they saw an unprecedented number of flu hospitalizations. This year, the CDC projects a moderate season. While cases aren't high right now, it is showing signs of increasing, especially in children.
So typically with respiratory illnesses, you'll notice the cough, the stuffy nose, headache. Sometimes people will get fevers associated with flu. But the important thing is that if you feel like something is wrong, you should seek care.
As always, health experts recommend hand washing, staying up to date on your vaccines, and staying home when you're sick. Former Vice President Dick Cheney was laid to rest. Yesterday, hundreds of mourners gathered at Washington's National Cathedral to pay their final respects. Former President Joe Biden and George W. Bush attended along with 4 former vice presidents. Daughter Liz Cheney eulogized her father as a devoted American who always put the country first. Former President Bush delivered the eulogy, honoring his vice president as a colleague and a friend.
He knew you couldn't truly appreciate what it means to live in freedom if you didn't understand the sacrifices of the generations who came before. And he made sure that his children and grandchildren understood this too.
We are grateful for his good life. We honor his service. And we pray that somewhere up the trail, we will meet him again.
The White House says President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance were not invited. The president did not issue a public statement after Cheney's death earlier this month. Liz Cheney became one of President Trump's harshest Republican critics after the January 6th Capitol riot. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. A record number of Americans are expected to travel this Thanksgiving, so that means you should start packing now.
And if you have any weekend plans, I'll tell you what you can expect coming up.
An official